When our mom passed away in 2021, Adam and I inherited her house, and making decisions about it was harder than any real estate we've ever done. This video is personal, but it's also practical. Adam and I inherited our mom's house after she passed, and we had to navigate probate, emotional decisions, and the reality of selling a family home. I want to walk through what we did, what surprised us, and what worked well, because this isn't just something we've studied or advised on, it's something we've lived through. This experience is a big reason why we focus so much of our work at Flock & Company on helping families who are dealing with inherited homes. All right, so 2021 was a bit of a rough year for us. Our dad passed away in early March, and then unexpectedly, a few months later, our mom passed away. Now, our mom and dad had been divorced for pretty much all of our lives, so it wasn't that as much as just our dad lived in Cleveland, and he left us in charge of his estate, and luckily our mom lived right in Casselberry, Florida, right near us, but we were also left in charge of her estate. Now, luckily, my mom had a will, and she left both my brother and I in charge as representatives, and we were both set to inherit the house. And luckily, the house was free and clear. She had actually purchased it in cash a few years earlier when she moved down to be closer to the two of us. But it still presented problems and had emotional attachment to it. When my mom moved to Florida, she didn't necessarily downsize or get rid of a lot of things. She very much brought everything with her, and so everything that was important or she thought was valuable was part of the house and part of the estate. And it was very hard to deal with under the great amount of grief that my brother and I were processing at the time. Not to mention, my mom had 3 cats, and so we had to figure out what to do with the cats and how to take care of them. And initially we did consider renting the property. However, we didn't want to deal with watching people basically possibly ruin the house, destroy the house. We had other rental properties that we were dealing with, and we just found out very quickly that people don't always take care of things the way that you would want them to. And emotionally, we couldn't handle that. We couldn't handle watching other people ruin property potentially. So we did ultimately decide to put the property for sale. So how did we handle the contents in the property? Because as I mentioned before, there were a lot. We did decide to have an estate sale. Our emotional capacity was limited. We just didn't have it in it to do it ourselves. A lot of the items my mom thought were going to be valuable, it turned out after some research, they just weren't as valuable as she thought. So we just, again, did not have the capacity to try and sell things on our own. The good thing about working with an estate company is the things that sold, they sold. The things that did not sell, the company itself donated on our behalf. So we didn't have to worry about clearing anything out ourselves, which was great. When the estate sale was done, the house was left clean and ready to go. The hardest part is because we did live in the same neighborhood as my mom. We did watch tons of people go in and out of her house, and it was hard to watch them, at least for me, walk away with her belongings. But we did believe that the benefits of the estate sale did outweigh the negatives. Even though they did keep a percentage of the sale, again, it just came down to the grief we were feeling and the emotional capacity that we had. I do recommend, though, before you have your estate sale, take anything and everything you want, because once it's gone, it's gone. And it doesn't hurt to take more than what you think you want, even if you store it for a year or two. I did find that I do regret there are a few things I did not take because things were just so fuzzy and so heavy that at the time, I just wasn't thinking clearly. All right, so we did decide to sell the property. When my mom bought it, she bought it, I want to say it was 2019, and she immediately put a new roof on. She had the interior completely repainted. She updated both the master bathroom and the guest bathroom from fresh tile, just made it look really nice. She had the landscaping done. She had new windows and doors put in. So all the big ticket items were up to date. We decided to replace the countertops in the kitchen. That was the one thing that wasn't done. There were still the old Formica countertops, and we decided to replace them with granite, which for the most part was a relatively inexpensive swap out. So essentially, we focused on market expectations versus not over renovating. We could have put in new tile, we could have put in all new cabinets, but it really didn't call for that, and we just didn't think we would get the value back out of spending that on the property because everything else was in really great condition. So by the time we were ready to list the property, it was around November 2021. If you remember, during that time, it was extremely low inventory with strong buyer demand, so which often led itself to multiple offer situations, and that is the situation we were in with our mom's property. We listed it at $415, and we ended up getting $420,000 for it. What helped was the home is updated. We set it at a price that was in line of what was going on with the neighborhood. And again, we just had the right timing in 2021 when the inventory was low. Here's what we recommend to others in similar situations. First, take what you want emotionally, okay? Don't rush the decisions during grief. Estate sales are okay and helpful. Selling isn't giving up on a parent's home. Sometimes it's bringing you peace. And emotional peace does have value too. Inheriting a home can be hard. There's no one right way to go about it. Your situation, your timeline, and your emotions matter. This experience is why Adam and I understand inherited homes so well. We've lived it and not just studied it.